Do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
What the is that, dude?
Well, good morning, Aussie Sue. Good morning, Sunflower. Good morning, Gloria, Dusty. Hope you've had a bloody great long weekend. Well, it's still a long weekend, isn't it? Hey, some things have happened over the weekend. Nothing's died. Some things have happened over the weekend, which mean that this morning I have to be somewhere else at the time I was going to be chatting with Bob, which was 11:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. I believe daylight savings has kicked off in the rest of the part of the world. So 12:30 in Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania, 12 o'clock in Adelaide. Don't know what it is in Northern Territory. And that would have been 9:30 in Western Australia. Can't do it this morning. I'm sorry. We will endeavour to reschedule. I know Bob gave me 3 days this week where he was available. Hopefully he still is available tomorrow and or Wednesday. And we will be able to get those Q&As happening. I know I've had a lot of people contact me and ask me what sort of questions they can ask him. What you can ask is essentially anything you really want, except for asking him to do a viewing or a reading or I don't know what they call it on you. Bob isn't doing any of that at the moment. Because of his ill health. Now, he's happy to talk about the past and what he's done in his military, and he will share what he can, but that doesn't mean he's going to share absolutely everything. I'm sure he's probably still covered by certain official secrets type acts. So we want to be a bit careful about what he says, how he says it, and we don't want to put Bob in any danger at all, obviously. So unfortunately, I've got to postpone it for today. It will happen tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm pretty confident we'll be able to work it out then. There have been some very interesting things happening, and the weekend has proven that Israel shows no restraint anywhere. Iran, I think Iran are a much bigger problem than they are making out to be. But what seems to be amongst the biggest problems of all are not the problems that are happening in Israel or in the Middle East. They are the problems that are happening in downtown home America. North Carolina was hit last week by Hurricane Helene. Or Helene, I think it was, Hurricane Helene. Now, this hurricane was a man-made event, an engineered weather event. Anybody who's seen vision that has come from those folks who were caught in the middle of this thing as it was coming through, no, it is a storm unlike anything ever seen before. And we can show you, and we'll show you a little later this week, how they created it. I've got about 55 different diagrams and instructional videos to show you about how this was all created. But the fact does remain that life, the universe, and everything in North Carolina, Tennessee, and other parts of America in that particular area are doing it extremely hard. There are entire towns that have been washed away. It is very difficult to get anything on mainstream media about this. Why? Because mainstream media are being kept out of North Carolina and Tennessee. Or they're just not going. It's not the matter of they're being kept out. They're just not going. It's not being reported. Just the same as we saw around Lismore and the Northern Rivers a few years ago when those terrible floods were afflicting the folks down there. It is exactly the same scenario. Americans, if you know anyone in America, pass this video along to them and explain to them that what they are seeing is not new. They've tried it here in Australia a couple of years ago, and it worked very, very well. The end result is, of course, that a lot of people wind up leaving the area, which is what they want. Now, why would the Americans want so many people to leave that particular part, Asheville in North Carolina? It's probably got something to do with the fact that the world's largest lithium reserves have been found in the North Carolina mountains right near Asheville. and that there was a great deal of pushback from the locals when the mining company decided to up their stake in the mine and have gone for permission to vast areas of North Carolina's mountain area. The Appalachians are in there too. And of course, there's been a huge amount of pushback from the locals. They don't want any mining like that coming in, strip mining, if you like, coming into their area. Well, how do you make those people not really care too much about the area anymore? You make it impossible for them to live in it. And that is essentially what they've done. They've made it impossible to live with any ease or any normalcy in and around Asheville for some years. It's horrifying, exactly the damage that's been done. We don't know. We don't know the full extent. We don't know because the official government responders to respond and stopping people who are helping. Now, there is massive efforts. I follow a number of people through the states, mostly to do with aviation, and these people are flying from all over America and then flying back out again, loading up and flying back in with more product, helicopters, aircraft everywhere. Private owners, not commercial businesses, private people filling up their helicopters and their aircraft and flying them down into North Carolina to try and give people some food and water and necessities, because there are none. Why are there none? It seems that FEMA are putting together all sorts of excuses and plans on how they're going to help. But unfortunately, at this stage, FEMA do not appear to be helping at all. So much so that the people of North Carolina in certain areas have very clear that should FEMA come in and try and stop people from helping others, then the FEMA people will be arrested. North Carolina police, state police, have said any government official, any FEMA or emergency service officials, federal government emergency service official, will be arrested if they hinder people trying to get aid up into the mountains. The part of the problem is most of the mountains, the people in the mountains live off tracks that go 30, 40, 50 miles into the mountains. Now, there is also a significant problem now with theft. There are a lot of people who are very, very scared. A lot of people who have lost everything, and they are up in these hills. The only thing they haven't lost is access to their weapons. So there are a great deal of robberies going on up there at the moment. Trucks are being stopped by hillbillies and having their whole loads taken. And people are desperate. It is because they are so desperate. The government hasn't flown in and helped them. The National Guard apparently is around, but doesn't seem to be doing very much. Does that sound anything like our army was when we were down at Lismore? They seem to be, if there's a camera turned on, they're doing something, but if there's not, they're not. And I have noticed a particular lack of military aerial assets in the area, a huge lack. There's none. Any Black Hawks or larger helicopters that have been brought in by the National Guard are and have been for most of the weekend parked up because they haven't received the orders to initialize them to allow by those people. And what's happening to those people? Well, who knows? There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people missing. There are trailer parks that have been washed away. There are towns that have been washed away completely in mudslides and God knows whatever else that's come down after this weather event that from all intents and purposes looks like it was man-made, a human-generated weather event. So that seems to be the big story at the moment in America, although it's not a very big story in mainstream media. Why? Well, they don't want America mobilizing to help the North Carolinians. They don't want that. If they did, they'd be telling them about it. So why is it being suppressed? the $64,000 question. Think about that. Why is it being suppressed? What possible advantage would there be to Biden or any government administration for suppressing this information? Not only suppressing it, now they are actively stopping aircraft from loading up and flying into areas. They're installing no-fly zones in areas. There was a VIP who flew into the area the other day that closed down the airspace around Asheville and a few other places for something like 5 hours. That meant nothing could fly while that VIP was on the ground. I don't know if it was Trump or not. Can't imagine it'd be Kamala Harris, because then she'd have to recognize that something needed to be done. And they're clearly not doing that terribly well. So, yeah, horrible time for people in America at the moment, particularly in North Carolina and Tennessee. Thinking of you, praying for you, and hope it all comes through. Also praying for the folks in the Middle East. My Lord, Israel, despite global condemnation, despite the UN, toothless tigers that they are, their military arm is otherwise engaged at the moment. That's NATO fighting the Russians. It's a terrible state of affairs. What is going to happen? Where is the next bombs going to go off? Well, at the moment, reports coming out of Lebanon indicate that the Israelis who've crossed the border and made it a ground war are finding it very hard. In fact, they are being slaughtered, is the term. Now, okay, propaganda being propaganda in wartime. Everybody is slaughtering everybody. Nobody's losing anybody. That's how it works. But the fact that our mainstream media is only reporting one side of the argument, the fact that our mainstream media is very selective in what they show in that one side of the argument, should be telling to most people. Well, I suppose should be telling to most people if they're watching the news. Do you watch the news? When was the last time you watched a mainstream media news service? So, I mean, I don't. There's no point. I couldn't even tell you the newsreaders these days because it's all lies. It's all fabricated, and it's all designed to either put you in an anxious state or to motivate you, move you psychologically into a certain mindset. And I refuse to bow down to the brainwashing. So steer clear of mainstream media news. I'm preaching to the converted here, I know. How many people do you know that sit down every night, 6 o'clock or worse, at 7 o'clock and watch the ABC news? And that's the only place they get their news from. The ABC, 7 o'clock at night. Oh, because they're trusted. Well, they're trusted to bullshit you blind. They're trusted to work their own woke agenda on you rather than anything you think might be worthy of programming, considering your probably 16 cents that you're donating to them, if not more, being now, and we can see at no time in the near to middle distance where it will be used appropriately, because there is no one at the ABC who has any balls. There's a reason for that. They're not allowed to have them. The theys, the thems, the he's, the she's, the LBGTQ ABC blue-haired, nose-pierced fucktard set are in charge. And it doesn't matter what happens at the ABC board level, because it doesn't impact the programming level. It doesn't affect what happens, what we see. So an ineffective board, an ineffective or completely off the scale programming team, which I think is probably more the case. They're very effective. They're just not on our page. ABC's got to go, folks. Don't care what you think. What you think you know about the ABC. Trust me, you know nothing. You know nothing about the bias that is ingrained so deeply in that organization that it would be impossible to clean it out. The only way to clean out the ABC is to strip it bare and start again with people that actually understand media running it. Can't wait to see the ABC killed off, sold off, broken up. Because right now it is just simply a very poor excuse for a broadcaster in this country. I was going to be speaking this morning too with Michael Engerman from Ainsley Bullion. Now, have you had a look at the price of gold and silver? Right now, still setting national records. Gold is at $3,905.65 and silver is at $47.38. If you a little bit of gold or a little bit of silver, if you have that sort of money, then can I advise you, please go and do it soonest. While it's still sitting under $50 an ounce silver, you're going to make a lot of money when it goes through the roof. And I think it's going to go through the roof sooner rather than later. With the war that's going on in different parts of the world, it impacts the gold price. Silver must catch up. There are also some other big factors pushing on silver prices at the moment, which have hitherto not really been explained wide out in the market. And could it be that some of that repression that we've seen or suppression that we've seen of the silver market might be coming back our way? Fingers crossed, sooner rather than later. The hope will be that this will trigger a bit of a boom, obviously, in what we're doing with our own silver stacks. And I still have my little one from Anton sitting here beside me. Thank you, Anton. Can't thank you enough. Anton's in Melbourne, and he went into Ainsley Bullion the other day, bought some silver for himself, and decided he'd buy me a coin. So thank you so much. And Ainsley sent it up to me. Beautiful. You can buy online too. And if you do, remember to put Voice of Freedom or my name, Carl, in the notes section of your order online at ainsleyBullion.com.au, and you will receive a discount, which is always nice to get. Wayne, I'm pleased to see that your missus has banned you from watching fake news. Yeah, well, yeah, you start yelling at the television, throwing the remote at it, and yeah, it's never a good look, especially when you smash the telly. G'day, Sab. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Michelle. You're nice in. Wayne, yep, nobody's watching fake news anymore. Black Sheep likes American Eagles. I like American Eagles too. Oh, you mean the coin? Well, I suppose I like them too. I think I've got a couple. I like the Dragons, and can I tell you? I think I'm allowed to tell you. I'm either going to be in a lot of shit now, or no. I think the embargo finished at midnight, so I'm going to tell you. This morning, Michael Engerman and I were going to discuss a new coin that is now available through Ainsley Bullion. It is only available from today. In fact, I'm very nervous about putting this picture up because I was sworn to secrecy about this the other day. It is quite a serious thing when new coins are released, and there is an embargo on such things. The Perth Mint puts that embargo on things, and I don't really want to go upsetting the Perth Mint too much. But I'm pretty confident that the embargo finished at midnight last night, because the coin has in fact been available to buy since midnight last night. What coin is that? Well, it's a new one called the Wombat. So it's a wombat and it's Joey, which is pretty cute, I must say. This coin is on the obverse, has old Buff's head, and you can see that the 1 ounce is worth $1 Australian currency. So a few things to know about it. 99.99% pure. It is Australian legal tender. It is the Joey and the Wombat design with his gooseness on the other side, and an authentication feature, a special authentication feature, which I won't go into because that'd probably muck up the security a bit. but I do know what it is. And there is a limited mintage. Only 25,000 of them will be minted. So they are now available at the ainslieybullion.com.au website. It doesn't matter that it's a public holiday in Queensland. You can still go online and order. Or if you felt the urge, you could ring Melbourne and deal with them. They're open today. Unfortunately, the Brisbane office is not due to the public holiday. Oh, actually, Melbourne won't be either because they're having a public holiday too. I think it's Buff's birthday. Is that what it's all about? Is it because it's that Buff's birthday? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Lose track of the days. You certainly lose track of the meaning behind the public holidays. So if you are interested in getting a first day of release coin, then that wombat is the way to go, and you can get it at ainslieybullion.com.au. I think it would be pretty cute to add to your collection, and I am heading up to Ainslie's on Wednesday. I'm going in to record a bit of an interview with a couple of fellas there. We're going to talk about some collectible coins. I don't really know much about collectibles. In fact, Pete from Pinaroo is our collectibles man in the chat group if you ever want to learn about it. Well, he's one of them. There are many folks in the chat group who know all about collectible coins, but we'll learn more about that. The Wombat, only 25,000 being made. That's the biggest March fly I've seen today already. Well, we'd like to get you with one. You can go and buy them at ainslieybullion.com.au. If you put my name or VOF in the notes section of your online order, you will find that you get a discount on the buy. You can also mention my name at the desk when you're buying. If you choose to go in and buy in person, then mention my name or mention Voice of Freedom. And just about everybody there seems to get the idea that that Voice of Freedom is helping out. So that'd be great. Hookstagram. You collect coins and stamps for a long time. Wow. Stamps. I've had a bad experience with stamps. Not as bad as my sister's, because my stamp collecting experience began in about 1976 and ended in about 1978. My sister's began in 1976 and ended about 5 years ago when she tried to sell her stamp collection and found that it was worthless. I'm sure there are special stamps that are worth a lot of money, but all the things that the Australia Post people tell you are worth collecting are crap. Absolute crap. You do not, in most cases, have the ability to make any money out of them. And in fact, it'll be soul destroying because many people bought the stamps, first day of issue, yada, 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 and blocks and squares and corners and this and that. You know, there's a whole science to stamp collecting. And my sister was right into it. And it destroyed her when she needed to sell. Well, she needed a fair bit of money to try and pay out a loan or pay out a mortgage or something she wanted. And she thought the stamps might help toward that. And after shipping them for just how useless the stamp collecting is. The coins will always remain valuable. They will always retain their value in whatever precious metal they are. Stamps, on the other hand, I wouldn't be holding my breath if I were you, dude. Wouldn't be holding my breath. Yeah, that's the problem, Hookster. Yeah, 1 cent face value is still worth a bit more than a cent today, but unfortunately, they're not worth hundreds. Yeah, nothing has gone up in the value like Australia Post would have had you believed. But coins, on the other hand, retain their value. Why? Because inside that is exactly 1 ounce of real, honest-to-God silver. All right? Real, honest-to-God silver. It retains a value. The value that the government put on this coin is $1, but it will cost you over 40 to buy it. There's a reason for that. It's valuable. So go and get some, folks, and I would say sooner rather than later. You've seen what's going on in the world at the moment. There are distractions left and right. The P. Diddy thing is a big distraction, a big distraction. Now, that's not to say it's not going to be a shocking and horrible thing for people to realize. But right now it's being used as a distraction. Now, I have seen the list. I was going to show it to you. Just can't seem to find it at the moment. I've got to go and resort it. The list of people who have been to Diddy's parties has been released. There's over 70 big, high-profile celebrities on the list that I've seen. Very high profile, including Prince Harry, the Clintons, of course, no show without that, the Obamas, but then the A-list music. Well, think of basically any rapper you like who thinks Diddy's a great guy. And, well, there's a couple of other sly types that have been introduced there as well. What is going to happen? When will this actually come out and be proved? Well, we're going to need to be arresting somebody soon. There is a lot of talk about a very, very high-profile person who is featured in a videotape. Now, this person did not know that they were being filmed at the time, and that's what Diddy used to do. He was another Jeffrey Epstein. He would film people and blackmail them. So this person was apparently offered the tape, but there's no guarantee it's the only copy of it. So this person is apparently very, very upset, very worried, very concerned that, and they are horrified at what this video shows. So it's clear that whoever this person was had been manipulated in some way with drugs or alcohol, and something significant happened sexually, and it was filmed. So we're going to wait with bated breath. I can only judge by the amount of traffic there is about this particular video that it may be amongst the first to be released, and they will be released. Timing is everything. So I guess we're just waiting to see how that's going to play out. Oprah Winfrey, yeah, Craig, I think Oprah's going to go too. I hope you're doing well, mate. Yes, Oprah Winfrey was on that list of P. Diddy's, amongst others. It is going to be, well, I think it'll be a joyous occasion. I am, looking for the gluten-free popcorn, but not so much to eat it, just throw it at the screen and say, get on with it, you bastards. There's more to be done. And there is a lot more to be done. CPAC was on over the weekend in Brisbane. You know what CPAC is? Well, I'll explain it all maybe tonight in a show tonight. I've been a bit crook over the weekend. From last week, I haven't really been able to walk. In fact, today is almost the first time I've been able to put my foot back down on the ground without wincing or crying. I was meant to be going along to that at some point over the weekend, and I never made it. So I was going to interview a few people there. We'll see if we can't do that another day. But yeah, I was in no fit state over the weekend to go away and do all that. I don't know what I did to my foot, but my left foot, but kills. And the doctor said the same thing. Yeah, I went and saw a doctor, so it must have been bad. So anyway, there you go. Just having a bit of a look through what you guys are saying. Yeah, Wayne, silver's only valued at today's value. Commemorative coins 10 times today's value. Yep, I would agree. And Ainsley Bullion will tell you the same. I have a collector coin which somebody gave me. It's very, very personal to me. So I'm not looking to sell it. But I know that if I were to take it to Ainsley's and sell it, I would only get the spot price for the silver. I would not get any commemorative or extra value added because it was a commemorative coin or a collector's coin or anything like that. That is because Ainsley's business is trading gold and silver, bullion, not collectibles. Now, if you were to take your collectible to somewhere that is more in a collectible business, you may well get more for it. And we saw a coin. Oh, I think when Vince was here, when we had our lunch down at the Boathouse Tavern in Oxenford, or Coomera, that somebody brought along a Sydney 2000 1 kilo commemorative silver coin. Now that, because it was in a box and something else, was probably worth slightly more than the spot price for a kilo of silver, but only slightly more. Wasn't worth thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars more. Nothing like that. And if you had to sell it, if you were on the bones of your bum and that's the only thing you had of value to sell, you would take it to somebody like Ainsley, who would give you the spot price for it. That's what they do. They're only interested in the bullion price. Having said that, they have decided now to take a bit of a glance at collectibles, and we will have a look into that on Wednesday, and we will discuss just how collectible and what sort of value you can expect from these collectible coins down the track. At the very least, you can always expect their precious metal value back, always, which is more than I think you'll get if you were a stamp collector along those lines. Yeah, ads. Good question. Why would 5 or 10 cents be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? I don't know. Usually because there's been a problem with them. There is something wasn't printed right, or it didn't stamped right, or it's got a hair lip or something. And that's too is the same for stamps. When there is a deformity or a misprint on a stamp, that's where the value comes, because there might only have been a very small number of them that were printed and circulated before the fault was found. And then that fault was changed, rectified, and whatever. So those sorts of ones can, if you've got an older coin or an older stamp, they can net you a reasonable value. Yeah, so Wayne, this works with gold as well. Silver is valued at $1. I don't know that I'll be able to show that to you. Let me see if I can. Actually, this isn't valued because this is an Ainsley coin. It's not a coin, it's a round. Okay, so it has just the value of the silver on it. I haven't got a coin close to me to show you, but yes, if you were to buy a coin, it'll have a $1 value, which is, great. Gold has $100 value. You buy a ounce coin, an ounce gold coin from Ainsley, it'll have a $100 value printed on the coin. But because you paid $3,900 for that coin, that's what an ounce is worth at the moment, then what it's really worth. Interesting tip. If you were going overseas and you wanted to take $10,000 spending money with you, and in fact you wanted to take a lot more than $10,000, you're stopped or regulated from taking more than $10,000 overseas with you when you go on a holiday. Well, if you took your $10,000 and put it into coins, you'd have 3 coins in your pocket. You could then maybe, if you wanted to take another 20 or 30,000, you could put another 6 or 8 coins in your pocket and be able to walk out of the country, because those coins are valued at $100 each. So you put 10 of them in there, you've got $1,000 worth of Australian value, if you like, currency value, but you are in fact carrying closer to $40,000 usable dollars. So something to be remembering if you are heading off overseas and you want to take a bit of money with you. Craig, what's this? You're heading our way, mate. You, the missus and the kids, lunch sounds like a fabulous idea, and a game of pool. I'm expecting to learn. You've got my number, Craig. You let me know, mate. We'd love to see you. If you want to come out here and have a look, we'll bring you out, show you around. Craig and his lovely wife down south have looked after us numerous times, and on our ways to and from various parts of Australia. So happy to return the favour up here, brother. No problems whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, we do that, Wayne. wait, we'll do that. Hexagon. That's great. I'm really pleased. There are some wonderful folks in the Melbourne office. I've had a bit to do with the Melbourne office after we did our little run around Victoria. If you know Katrina in the Melbourne office, she is just a doll. Pass on my best to her. I haven't spoken to her in a little while. Last time I saw her, she was in a moon boot, poor thing. So I trust that that's all improved. But yeah, Katrina in the Melbourne office. I think Robert is the new manager down there now. And I was talking to Drew the other day. He rang up when Anton decided he wanted to give me a coin, so he rang up for the address. So yeah, great crew down in the Melbourne office. A beautiful view out of their boardroom too. Can I say, looking straight up Burke Street. But if you're in Melbourne, pop in. If you're in Brisbane, pop in. And if you are anywhere else, you can order online and have it securely delivered to you. And it doesn't cost a huge amount of money. Now, it costs a huge amount of money if you want 100 kilos of silver sent to you. The more silver you buy, the heavier it becomes. Isn't that weird? Same with gold, funnily enough, but it doesn't take up nearly as much area. So regardless, Ainsley Bullion can get your gold or silver product to you. You don't have to travel to them. And from there, you can stick it where to keep it safe. And I've got a couple of ideas on that too. And now here's the stupid thing. I've been developing ideas of how and where you could store your gold and silver, because I've had people say to me, "Oh, Carl, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be too scared to leave it in the house, and I'd be too scared to do this." Look, I understand that completely. If you've got let's just say you happen to have a gold bar, and there are plenty of you that do, that gold bar is worth $130,000 in 1 kilo bar right now. So you're going to want to keep that very secure. So I've been doing little lists, and people have told me some of the things that they've done to keep things secure. But I'm hesitant to actually put all that up, or for us to even have a conversation about it, because there are some nefarious bastards out there who would just get a list and start looking. And I have no real desire to go and help them with that. So yeah, don't play that game. If you can, do what Sandy did. Buy online. And it turns up, and God, look, if they can deliver it to the donkey sanctuary out there in the middle of nowhere, New South Wales, they can get it to you. So, sorry, Sandy, it's not the middle of nowhere. I know, love you. So, yeah, go and check it out. And as I mentioned earlier today, a first day of issue, the Wombat, which is pretty cute. That's the obverse, and they're all the bits and pieces to do with it. Only 25,000 of them to be made, so you can buy them online today. I will notice that one of the selling points they happen to have there are the clouds. These ones do appear to be cloud-like, at least, rather than lines in the sky. So could we take that as a potential omen that things are going to improve in that way? Because we have seen coins in the past that have been put out with big white lines in the sky, supposedly clouds. But we know better, don't we, kids? All right, it's getting that time of the morning, 8:15 in my part of the world, might be 9:15 where you are, so you've probably stopped watching and gone to work if you were smart. If that is the case, have a great day. I'm sorry that I will not be able to look after Bob today at 11:30 Queensland time. We will rejig that for tomorrow if Bob is available, or Wednesday. He gave me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. So fingers crossed he will be available tomorrow or Wednesday to redo the show. And my apologies that I can't do it this morning. Something's come up, and I've got to be somewhere else at that time, unfortunately. So, yeah, bugger. All right. Having a bit of a quick glance. Sandy's got the right idea. Bury your pile on somewhere on 300 acres. Yep, very decent indeed. That could work. Oh, look, I've seen some ingenious, really, really clever things that people have told me they've done, and some have shown me that they've done to keep their stash secure. But I really don't feel good about putting them all up. I'd love to give you, because I know it's a bit of a struggle, especially when you first get it. If you've got a little bit of a stack and you think, oh, gee, you know, there's a few $1,000s there. What am I going to do with it? Well, yeah, there are ways and means. So a little bit of lateral thinking, I think, works pretty well too. All right, folks, you have yourselves a good day. I will attempt to be back tonight. It may depend somewhat on what happens this afternoon with this thing that's happening, but I think that should be all okay. We'll see how it goes, and I'll endeavour to get the list that I can show you of Diddy's, celebrity list, which isn't going to be terribly flash for a lot of celebrities, I'm pretty sure. The war continues in the Middle East. Thankfully, at this juncture, Israel doesn't seem to have gone too stupid firing things into Iran. And I've done a little bit of analysis of a lot of those strikes into Israel from Iran last week. And I can tell you that I do not believe that many of those missiles contained any, if much, explosive. I think this was a purely optical attack, so that the Iranians could look like they'd done something without causing too much damage. And I think, judging by the amount of damage that has actually been caused, they achieved their goal. They didn't really hurt Israel very much at all. They might have, blown up a couple of buildings on an airport. They may have blown up a plane in Syria, but that's about it. And why would that be? Iran has 2,000-pound bombs, has bigger than 2,000-pound bombs. I've seen a 2,000 bomb go. I've been 5 or 7 kilometers from a 2,000-pound bomb going off. Trust me, they've gone off. I have been close to 500-pound bombs being dropped. They have been dropped, and the explosion is significant. Significant. If you watch the missiles raining down on Tel Aviv last week, the ones that do get through, you'll notice, do not light up the night sky. They should. They should. Instead, there are small fires, small explosions that, for all intents and purposes, could actually come from the unspent fuel used in getting the rockets there. Or they have very small warheads on them. When the shooting match starts, folks, do you remember that fire, they said it was, that happened in Lebanon, in Beirut a little while ago? It was a fire on the port. Said it was a fireworks factory that got out of control. It actually wasn't. It was something much more deep state related. But it was blown up. Now, that was the kind of explosion you can expect from a big bomb. A big bomb. So if you've not seen that video, go back and have a look. The explosion in Lebanon a couple of years ago, in Beirut a couple of years ago, killed plenty of people, leveled buildings. But yeah, anyway, check that out. All right, folks, you have yourself a good day. I'm going to shoot off. The foot is feeling a little bit better. Thank you for people who asked. I am able to put some pressure on it today, which is the first time I've been able to do that since Friday. I think I'll need to put my foot down. So, So thank you to everybody who's offered all sorts of cures and solutions for that. So far, nothing has really worked except maybe hot water. Really, really hot water. All right. Head out. Enjoy your day. If you are on the roads, watch out for the dickheads. They are everywhere.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!